Isn't it about time for somebody's favorite radio program?
Ruh-roh.
Holy Testicle Tuesday
was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
In a land poisoned by war, the people of the Valley of the Wind were at peace. But an ancient relic threatens to destroy them all. A monster from the old world, a giant warrior. Only Princess Nausicaä can stop the firestorm of hate from engulfing her world.
All this killing must stop!
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, Saturday night at 7:30. The Angel of Light has come. Part of a month of Miyazaki. Only Toonami on Cartoon Network.
That's right, baby. Yeah.
Sad Wolfie.
Oh, snap.
Boy, do I have a surprise for you.
Oh no.
I guess Ironcaster decided that you stole Jean Grey and he was out. He's kicked out.
Oh, snap.
Knives for sale. Oh no, it stopped.
It stopped.
It stopped.
Oh man, it just stopped. Oh, I don't know what happened. You just kind of put us in the show. All right. Well, hey everybody. Hope everybody's doing all right.
Isn't it about time for somebody's
Oh, that
favorite
started over.
radio program?
Oh, wow.
There we go. Huh. All right. All right. Ironcaster's back. There we go. We got that going for us. How you doing, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to Talk Hard. It is, it's hardly working to talk as how things go here. EV Mux continues to be a difficult partner at times in this, but I think it's a user issue. I still blame myself, but
There is
we're here.
no
We're ready to talk
intro,
hard.
only EB Mux.
EV Muck, I know. So, but I hope everybody out there, you are blessed. You are doing well. You're ready to talk about another Ghibli film, another anime thing for the old pops. Had not seen it. Thought maybe, but nope, it was the trailer. Recognized some footage, but nope, hadn't watched that. So we're going to give you some first reactions, some first thoughts, and that kind of thing. So here we are, this wonderful panel and a wonderful guest. So Ironcaster, my friend, what is going on? How are you doing?
Oh, try to survive the heat up here. I know. I can't complain too much. Being up in the heat, the hot north, but I get by.
Yeah, well, he's still not shaved it off, so he's not shedding. It's not like it's that kind of heat, but we'll see. Looks a little leaner and thinner, so maybe kind of groomed it down a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, we cleaned up a little bit.
Isn't it like 85 degrees there?
91.
Oh my gosh, you're melting.
All right.
91. Wow. I'm so proud of you. You made it to the 90s.
We're not built for the heat up here. It's the cold. That's why we have the layers. That's why we have flannel. Okay?
I mean, 91 degrees is just like, wow, dude. You're.
It's 9 in the morning, my friend.
Yeah.
Cold front.
Yeah.
We were discussing it earlier before we started. I was like, yeah, it's going to be hotter tomorrow. Yeah. It's 80 by 8. I'm like, oh, dear Lord.
Houston, you'll see some cloud cover in the late afternoon. That'll get you down to 99 degrees. So thank you so much for the cloud cover, bringing us down to 99 degrees.
Yep, let's go to Chopper Dan with the temperature in Florida. It's hot. It's darn hot. Pops just burst into flames. Yes, indeed. Squeeka, how are you doing, lady? What's going on?
Doing all right. Doing great. Been watching some funny movies. I got 2 more on board for this week. I'm excited. Other than that, just gearing up to get back ready for another school year. Yay!
Yeah. Lots of things going on with the Squeeka Mouse household. And if you didn't get her reference, if you've not been checking out the channel, she did her first watch video with me. We've got Naked Gun, Blazing Saddles, and some others that are on the way. So make sure you check those out. It's been a blast. It's a lot of fun going through these. The most recent recording, which will be up soon, That is Some Like It Hot. Just an absolute greatest of all time kind of film.
Love that movie.
Phenomenal. By the way, we didn't touch on it. Caster, how's your birthday, my friend? Any cool shenanigan stories or anything?
Oh, I did the most exciting thing of going to a bar and eating a salad.
They serve salads in bars. Huh. All right. No tractor racing? No.
No,
Were
no,
you-
it was pretty quiet here.
Were you excited that you're old enough to drink? So,
That's why where's the beer?
Only 22.
All right.
Again.
Did you get ID'd there, little fella?
We'll
They
see.
sign ask for your you sign a lot of autographs on napkins. Like, hey, aren't you that guy in that Vidal Sassoon hair commercial?
Well, you see, the secret is you go during the day when all the kids should be at school.
Maybe
In
it's
the summer?
Ironcaster. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Loki, my friend, how are things going? What's going on in the as the agent of chaos?
We just bought Shell Oil there, Pops. We bought Shell Oil. Yeah. We own part of Shell Oil now. Some Like It Hot. That's a hot ass movie.
It's classic, man. I'm going to think of you every time I see a Shell Oil. They're on every corner.
on every corner. I was
Every
just
corner. Things are going good, man. Things are going good, and I'm enjoying the time that I've got, and kicking butt and taking names all at the same time. So I'm good. Get ready to talk about this weird ass movie that I definitely didn't just get done watching, that I'd never watched before, because I don't really like Studio Ghibli that much. So blasphemy. I know.
But it's okay. That's okay. We asked Louise Sparrow to join us, and it's great to have her part of Talk Hard for the very first time on the show. Louise, this was kind of one of your favorites in the old Ghibli library, so we thought we'd bring you in and make sure you keep us honest on some praise and love for this. But thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
Did you see this pretty early on, or when did you discover this film?
So I know that the earliest one I watched was Castle in the Sky. After that I sort of looked for things. So I'm not sure. I've had the DVD for years though, so quite a while ago now.
All right, that's good. I said before we started, I revealed this. I don't know if I said it earlier in the show or not, but I have not seen this movie. I'd seen the trailer, and then whenever I downloaded the little TV spot that I put in the intro, I was like, yeah, I think I might have seen this too. So it was, it's been part of the Ghibli regular circuit. What's it called, Squeeka? Will you keep me honest? The Ghibli Fest? Is that what the right term is?
Yeah, it's just called Ghibli Fest.
They've had it for years now, so it's so I've seen that many times, and my daughters have gone to see it. Like when they were going through their anime love times, they were, oh, you guys go on ahead. I want to watch this over here. You guys do. So they've seen it. So yeah, it's a good one. Ironcaster, you did you see Nausicaä pretty early on, or where? How does this come down for you in the old Ghibli library?
This was one among the many that I've seen over the years, in part, thanks to the success of Spirited Away. Those got a lot of the Ghibli films all got a big bump in that regular rotation among like Cartoon Network and some of the more premium channels. And so that was kind of my Spirited Away was sort of my intro into a lot of the Ghibli films. And this was one of the ones that's always stood out to me.
All right. I just wanted to add too that the only other thing I can remember about this film, like when it was released in the 80s, was whatever version was out was allegedly an edited version from what Miyazaki had originally wanted. And I guess he even spoke out against it. Or so all the fans and all the anime people that were really into this way more than I ever was were like, oh no, don't watch that. It's not the right cut. You got to get the Japanese cut, whatever. It's like, well, you can't get the Japanese cut. It took us years before we could get those. They were not easy to find. And if you're not really an anime, I wasn't going to drop the amount of money it would have taken at a Comic-Con or something to get a copy back then. So it took a minute to get a copy on DVD, get something I could afford to watch if I had sought it out. So that's probably another reason why I didn't make it into the regular rotation for me. So Squeeka, what are your thoughts, the initial sort of like ranking or thoughts on this one as well for you?
Well, this was one of, I I think I started with Mononoke first. It might have been, oh, I can't remember if Mononoke or When the Cat Came Back was the first one, but um, it, I it's a different feel than from Princess Mononoke or Howl's to me. Like there's certainly a division between his 80s works and his 90s works as far as animation style goes and some of the background, but I still love the fact that it's the fantastical way he presents things and the detail and the artistry of, like, even here, like the bugs and the underground caverns. And I I I mean, that's one of the things I love about Ghibli's works is just the way it's animated, especially like some of the background scenes and just how all the people kind of play together.
Yeah, I would say that if I had a general take on Miyazaki, he's probably one of the most underrated creatives of the generation. Like, he literally needs to be mentioned more in line with some of these incredible creators in the West that we just ignore. But the world building he does for each one of these films and incredible, fantastical creatures and stuff that he does is truly spectacular, truly spectacular. So,
Can I just say that I mean the art in this is on a whole nother level than almost everything they're making today. We get stuck with CGI and computer generated schlock, and this is this is all hand drawn. This was all created by hand. This is what Japan never needs to lose. This is the creativity and the talent and the resourcing that they need to keep alive and they need to protect because it is gone in the West. No one would make a movie like this. No one could imagine doing a movie like this here anymore. Protect this at all costs because it's a dying art form everywhere else in the world but Japan. So put a big dome around Japan and protect it because we need this in our lives. It's beautiful.
yeah, well said. Couldn't agree more. Let me say hello to this wonderful chat. Snorty, of course, coming in, holding the door open for everyone. Great to see you, Snorty. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Always good to see you, brother. Penny, great, Penny. Great to see you, Penny. Thank you for everything. Yeah, YouTube let me give away those memberships. Does that thing a couple times a month. So there you go, folks. If you remember, make sure you stay alert there as a member. Make sure you can catch that SQUEEKA Mouse video here coming up here soon. Get some giggles. It's always fun doing that. So make sure you catch that. So the Shield Dragons, Shield Wall Dragons, the NZ guy, Toasty with a Mosty, Lord Tatman, and Black Angus reviews. Then crazy old SQUEEKA Mouse lady. She's so generous. 10 memberships. SQUEEKA, I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. Holy cow. Captain Kurt, Grifter, Jill, Cajun Corey, Resolute Germ, Apollo's Minion, Stephen Ransom, Copa, Anonymous, and Arwen. So tons of folks re-upped in memberships and being part of that there. So great to have that. Thank you so much for your generosity. Appreciate you so much, lady. That's awesome. Jacob Ironside popping in saying, hey, what up, all? And listen, Jacob's got a show after this as well. He'll be on a little bit later on tonight. Always picking great movies and topics to enjoy over there. So make sure you check that out. So let's see. Did I miss? I think I got most folks. There's Palmy. Thank you so much. Say thanks and great to see her popping in. Awesome to see you. Be safe out there. Always love watching the pooch. Some fun videos and stuff out there. And let's see. It's already talking weather. Yeah, I know. It is nuts. Yeah. And it's already saying, is there anything in the movie derived from Greek epic Odyssey? Nausicaä was originally a character in that. I didn't think so. I'm obviously more familiar with Greek mythology. Louise or SQUEEKA, do you guys know? Is that kind of where, has he ever mentioned that that's where some of his inspirations came from?
Not that I'm aware of for this.
It feels like there's a lot of more. It felt a lot more of religious and environmental iconography and different imagery and stuff that they were going for. So
Well, I mean, it's got a lot of the regular trademarks of the anti-war messaging and some environmental stuff kind of sprinkled throughout it. Those are a lot of those Ghibli trademarks you can see throughout this film, and it is thick through the film. Thick like a miasma.
Well, I
Thick
feel
like a
like
miasma.
well, I feel like I've read somewhere that there was a connection between the Greek Nausicaa because there was like some nature connection between the character in the Odyssey. Like she was a nature lover. I think most of it was there was another story about a girl who loved insects, and I feel like that's where it came from.
I mean, it's one
Because
of those things you
I
just.
know it's based off of a story. It's like a graphic novel itself. So I don't know where the original graphic novel got its inspiration from.
Well, it's one of those things where you just
Miyazaki
sort
wrote
of pull from elements of here or there along the way to tell your story. You pull in all these little bits and elements of inspiration that make you put your story together with.
Louise?
I was just gonna say Miyazaki wrote the manga that it's based on, but who knows what his original inspiration was? That's as Ironcast said, he pulls in a lot of stuff. He seems to be quite widely read because some of his other stuff is based on novels and things, but this was his manga.
Okay. Are you familiar with the manga? Has anyone else read the manga?
No.
No, not
It's
either.
it's been on my list that I keep meaning to get around to reading it, and it's regularly available too. It's just a little bit of time, a little bit of life gets in your way. It's a book I need to get to reading.
I think obviously the one thing that we can all just kind of get back to is how much, as Loki you were saying, just this animation, the depth of details and the backgrounds, the crazy characters that are created. It's really just truly spectacular. I just think it's just extraordinary. These sequences were just amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the Japanese pulled all of this off spectacularly, even when the US was already falling behind in the 80s with animation. I mean, Disney was like the only one who could really kind of keep up, and even they couldn't do what the Japanese could do as far as animation goes. This is why you had so much stuff getting changed. And Miyazaki himself went after the original westernized version of this, like you were talking about, because they cut it up and they changed stuff. And that was actually, I believe, the first case where anyone in a studio in Japan was like, hey, no, we're not going to let you do this. And we're not going to let you do this anymore. We're going to come after you, and we're going to have guidelines of what you can and you can't do with our work because of this movie.
Well, to elaborate on that a little bit further, Harvey Weinstein was trying to get the movie. He was talking about making all these big edits and changes to it. And as the story goes with this particular film, some of the I think Studio Ghibli producers sent a katana to his office with the words "no no no cuts" etched into the side of it.
Interesting. Steve Ransom got some love there for him. I like that term. I don't know if anybody, Luis, you ever heard this term, myth smith? That's a pretty good way to describe Miyazaki, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Lord Yupa. I was surprised by Lord Yupa being voiced by Patrick Stewart. That was a surprise. Loki, did that catch you off guard there? Do you know that going into this?
No, I didn't know that until I was reading the wiki after I watched it, which was all of like probably 30 minutes ago. So that Patrick Stewart voiced, Yupa in the English version. I didn't watch that version though.
Of Gandalf, basically.
The only version of this I've watched is the original Japanese version. I've not watched any other versions. I will not watch any other versions. So,
okay.
Well, credit to the dub with this one though. It is a really solid voice cast. I mean, you go down the list. It's got Uma Thurman, Patrick Stewart, Shia LaBeouf, Frank Welker, Mark Hamill. Like this is a who's who of named actors.
Chris Sarandon.
I'm just not like I don't know. At some point over the last 2 or 3 years, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not watching anything that's dubbed. I'm gonna watch if I can watch it. If I can watch a sub, I'll watch a sub. If I can't, I've got to watch a dub. And that's the only way I can watch it. Okay, whatever. But I prefer it in the original language. I'll read the movie. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the
Fair
same way. But I wanted to give the dub of this one a chance because I'd heard so much about the cast and I wanted to see how it was done. And it actually, I agree with Ironcaster. It's done really well. It's actually not not a bad dub at all. I do still prefer the original Japanese, but it is done well.
Luis, your recommendation kind of moved this one up our Ghibli list and kind of our hierarchy. And I have to admit that when I saw moments like this with all the details and the backgrounds, of course, it was like, it's tickling my fancy. It's giving me exactly what I want, because that's exactly what I think Miyazaki brings to the table. And these movies are just truly just so spectacular. And actually, I felt it was so sad in the movie where they're like immediately like in her grief, she's like, just tear it all down, let it all go away. And I'm like, oh no, come on, please, no, don't. It just, I was already invested in that moment. Really enjoyed this so much.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping it would be liked a bit more because it's got more of a classic storyline than, say, Spirited Away, which is very mythical and a little bit out there. Whereas this has got more of a hero story and it's a sci-fi edge. So, they're all a little bit different. But
Can I, Luis? You said it's more of a hero story. Did anybody have a problem with the fact that at the beginning of this movie, the old grandma is like, "Oh no, it's gonna be it's gonna be this guy. He's the wanderer. He's the one that's gonna walk on gold fields and yada yada." Doesn't end up being him. It ends up being her. And oh my god, nobody hated it. It was great because the story was told good. It had great characters. It kept you entertained. Nobody complained when it was like, oh, this is the girl who's going to solve the problem. Nope. Everybody just rolled with it. It was great. Why? Because the story was great and you were invested in these characters and it all made sense. Now nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to make it make sense. It'd be like, oh well, this girl that used to be a guy is going to be the hero and the savior of everything, and they would never let it. They would never let it cook like this. And I guess that's what we're missing. We're missing the people that can make a story really cook, and that's what they do here. They make this story really cook.
Well, it also helps that she's not made to be an overwhelming character. She's a character who's drawn by passion. I mean, there's a great caring in her that we've seen constantly. This is who Nausicaä is. She cares. She's always trying to kind of push the ideas, and we're seeing the fruits of that pay off early in the film with the plants that are not poison. We're seeing the possibilities that exist. There's a lot of groundwork that's laid out that makes it so easy to buy into that.
Awesome.
Well, and true, she's inspirational. And like having seen this earlier in my life, like as a teacher, like this is my attitude when I go into teaching, is I project, like I've learned from this movie, I project calm. I just, like when she gets bitten by Tito and she's just like, it's okay, and she doesn't retaliate, doesn't react. Like I use a lot of these personality types in what I do just because she's that inspiring of a role model.
Loki, we can neither confirm or deny that when we bite SQUEEKA in the hand, she neither reacts nor flinches. She just says, "Remain calm, remain calm."
That was her first reaction to coming on here.
Yeah, her first experience with her during Karate Kid was just remain calm, just remain calm. That's exactly how that went.
She bit you. You told her to remain calm.
Yeah, remain calm.
She bit Adega.
Vegas one got bit in that show.
Adega was like, oh no, Daniel's good and Johnny's the bad one, and me and SQUEEKA were like, no, Johnny was the good one. And Daniel was the prick that messed everything.
Miyagi's an illegal alien, I believe, and that's where Daddy Bags was birthed into our lexicon. So yeah,
Right in the daddy bogs.
DJ Ronnie G is here. Great to see you, man. Subscribe to Japanese engineer who designed an RC version of that flying animal. That's crazy. Awesome, man. Super, super cool. Making flying drones. He adapted a flying drone. That would be super cool to see.
So real quick, what do you guys think about the rebreathers that just look like big floppy mustaches?
Well, when I'm starting this, I was wondering if they were like dogs or something. I was like, okay, are these dog people? This is going to be one of those weird animal people movies where they're like furry weirdos. No, it's just a face mask. Okay, all right. They're not dog people.
All right, so I don't know if this is a hot take or I'm getting way out ahead of myself. So I'm a little disappointed I had not seen this movie 10 years ago or so, because it feels like her look and her demeanor and everything in the first act of this film was totally ripped off by J.J. Abrams and Rey in the first Star Wars movie. So you remember Rey? She's like a scavenger, kind of going around collecting samples, doing little things. And now I'm not, it's not totally, but she's got like the same kind of like equipment on and stuff, and she's collecting I don't know. I just felt like, wait, did J.J. Abrams like rip off Miyazaki? I know. I was a little distracted by that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. It's my first watch. Sorry, folks, if it's insulting you people. I'm not trying to start a fight, but I was like, it feels a little, yeah.
When she's sitting in the engine of that Star Destroyer and she's just like eating her little whatever the hell it was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
In that first, whatever Force Awakens, whatever it is, that is totally the beginning of this movie when she's messing with the carapace of the Ohm. Yeah, the skin of the Ohm, the shell that's left over. That's so totally Rey at the beginning of Force Awakens in the engine of that Star Destroyer. Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. She's such a compassionate role model. Agreed. So, good stuff there. And Mr. Potato Head parts. That is good. That's a good reference. I get that. That's good. That's good for sure. Speaking of funny facial hair, Beard's here. Hey, Beard. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Beard?
What's going on, man? Den of villains. Yeah, you're not getting an argument from any of us. Yeah, for sure. Wow, what happened over there? We take it.
I think we've angered the Ohm.
The Ohm is out. The Ohm is at Ironcaster's door.
Ironcaster stole their baby.
It's angry. It's angry.
Luis, I hope you know how to calm this thing down. We're maybe losing control.
Squeeka, I may have a job for you.
Yes! Oh, wait. I shouldn't say yes to you. I know what happened the last time you suggested something.
Oh, dear Lord.
We
have to. Out of context now. Great imagery. I love those sequences. I loved the action of it all. And I will agree with you, Luis, too. It feels... instead of being mythical, I just feel like I'm in a sci-fi world. I just feel like I'm in just some sort of alternate future. And I also love the fact that they didn't lecture me. They just sort of like say, hey, listen, there's some sort of like 1,000-year ago thing that kind of cooked the planet. And now it's all, it's a mess. And yeah, I like the fact that it's environmental, but it's not like beat me over the head and, mention President Reagan by name or some crazy nonsense from back in the day.
Yes, I mean they would now, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that post-apocalyptic future, and she's still investigating using science. She's worked out that it's not the plants that are infected; it's the soil, and she's working through all of that.
Man, good stuff. Yeah, I will say though, so it's a negative for me. First, I don't have a shot, but I'll just use this shot. Does she have some drawers on? I'd be critical.
Yeah, she has pants. She's wearing pants.
I'd be critical of other movies because I feel like This isn't the most, I don't know, appropriate attire to go out into some sort of like toxic environment and deal with all these critters and whatever. I don't feel she has proper drawers on. Like I'm not sure what she's got on, but it's a little more.
She's got her appropriate flying skirt on. Okay,
I guess.
Aerodynamic.
She's wearing white pants. I promise.
Are we sure? Loki, are we sure? I don't know if there's another image or not, but I feel like maybe I don't know. She needs to get some leather pants on or something. I don't know, something to.
I mean, actually, come to think of it, if you look at the poster, the cover, it kind of looks like she's got a little bit of cheek there.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that she doesn't have on.
Here, I've got it for you.
Okay, let's go to Ironcaster. Let's see, where's that? It's over here.
It's anime. They all have got a little bit of cheek there.
Yeah, they're a little cheeky like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they are tight sort of trousers or stuff, but I get what you mean, because in things like My Hero Academia, they do actually draw them like that when they're naked. So it's, I can understand why you might think that.
Well, and again, I wasn't saying that she was totally naked. I'm just like, riding a horse, she's riding critters, she's riding these gliders and whatever. You would get a little more than her little skimpy skirt going on. That,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry I think into these weird things. My brain was a little distracted at times, and then she's flying and just bouncing around. I mean, look. I mean, I guess these are I mean, I guess she's got britches on. I'm sorry.
She does.
I mean, I want to say. Sorry, we interrupted the show for my britches analysis, but I was like, I was distracted. Like, wait, she needs to have some pants on. Yeah. Oh, Snorty. Thank you, Snorty. You made me smile. There we go. That brought us all back to the show. Appreciate it. Thank you.
There's just so much I really enjoy with this film. I mean, you see the way these two princesses are so completely different in this film. There's all these elements of flight. There's some great messaging about war being bad, but isn't too overwhelming with the message of it all. That it's able to let you believe into this world that, in spite of everything humans have done to this world, they will still survive in the end.
What do you guys think of the anti-war approach in this movie compared to some of the others?
They camouflaged it, and they did an extraordinarily great job of like, okay, well, if this was about nuclear war and what happened in Japan, they've completely like, yes, all the basis for that is there, but they covered it up with a beautiful story and a beautiful epic and beautiful art, great cast. So this is the way it used to be. It used to be like, okay, we're going to tell you the story, and you walk away with what you took from it. They don't do that now. They can't, for whatever reason, they refuse to do that today. They refuse to give us a story and let us just take what we want from it. They've got to be like, oh, well, this is really about that, time that the Japanese reactor was underwater and contaminated everything, or blah, 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 blah. We don't need all that. Just let us take what we get from it and carry it with us, because we will. I mean, their whole generation did it. It's almost like they're saying, well, people can't do that anymore, and that's total horseshit.
Well, I think it does a good job, too, of not just saying it's anti-war. I think it promotes the compassion piece. I think it spends more time on her learning and their relationship with the Ohm, the way she learns about the plants and the soil and the water, and spending more time with the curiosity and compassion piece of it rather than the anti-war piece of it. There's pieces of it, yes, but at the same, where she's like, stop fighting, or they talk about the Great War, but I feel like they spend so much more time on showing the compassion and showing the science of bettering where they live in the valley and how they've progressed than trying to just say, oh, war is bad.
Yeah, and I think more than just that, it's there's also an element of, if humans go down that route, that's what it could end up like. It's that warning that you know, we could take our machines too far, we could take our wars too far. You know, it's not just saying, oh, it's bad, it's saying, you know, look at where we could end up.
Yeah, Stephen Ransom citing that the giant demon things are the placeholder for nuclear power, right? Yeah, and this is definitely during the Cold War, right? So it's coming out in the mid 80s where this is, I mean, for those of you that aren't old enough, it was like generation 2 of Cold War nuclear fear mongering. Like, you know, it's like my parents were the generation of the kids had to get under the desk and pretend that their desk wouldn't be vaporized with the missile crisis and everything in the 50s into the 60s. And it's like with my group, it was like, you know, we don't do those drills anymore, but you were all going to die. And then it was like, oh, we have this old president who could just accidentally roll over on the button at night. I mean, it's like, it was just the fact that he took the time to, I think, Louise, what you said too, is like he's saying, look, if you guys scorch the earth, here's a little sci-fi story about, hey, don't do that. But I really do like the anti-war sentiment, which I think is everyone's 100% right, is sort of my libertarian-esque approach to, do we want to just keep killing people? Can we like just not kill people? Like, are there other things we could do than just kill people? Like, the movie did such a great job of constantly doing that. And if nothing else, maybe the target audience is more juvenile than other anime, but it feels like that would be the right kind of message for kids. It would be it's the right thing. I should let my grandkids watch and go, hey, yeah, we probably should have a princess who's like, hey, stop killing people, versus a princess who's like, yeah, we're just going to try to manipulate people and get over on people, and I don't care about these people. It's like, I just liked all that. I thought it was a great way to handle it. And look, like you said, they don't do this anymore, man. It's very refreshing.
I mean, it's ultimately a story about this little village who has this war thrust upon them with these two major world powers that have brought a weapon of great devastation to their front doorstep, and the havoc that has forced upon them.
That's true. That's true. I love the fact that there was that quick little moment with the men of that village who are sort of like explaining, like, hey, you're okay with fire destroying everything, but it takes, you know, just, did he say 100 years or 1,000 years for the water and the soil to put everything back? And like, we just prefer that. We don't want to use the fire. We don't destroy everything. I'm like, oh, that was really good. I like that. That was solid. So,
I mean, ultimately, they're not ambitious to think that they'll be able to fix everything within their lifetimes. These are people who are thinking generations down the road. It's the, you know, planting a tree that my great grandchildren will catch shade under, that I will never see in my lifetime, sort of mentality.
That's deeper than you know, I think. All right. Steve Ransom also is addressing my pants issue with this movie. She'd be dead. Okay, fair enough. She'd be dead. Okay, fair enough. I just, you know, yeah. You guys are giggling behind the scene. I hear you giggling out there. I know you are. I get it. I know I have issues. It's fine. Really good stuff. This is just really good stuff. Love the imagery. Love the different character designs. That they have a lot of similarities, but they also don't. And then, of course, just like you said, Ironcaster, some of these great aerial sequences.
That's one of those staples that you would get from Miyazaki. It is just these beautiful images of flight, of this strange designs to the machinery that feels to blend man and nature together.
Louise, what are some of your favorite sequences in this movie?
Well, I mean, funny enough, I was reading some of the art book, and I rewatched it because they were talking about how the Own breathe, and however many times I've watched it, I just watched the Own breathe, but they explained that they actually cut out the segments and put it on an elasticated tab, and then like moved it independently to the animation over the top. So I was absolutely fascinated by rewatching it because you could see that once you've once you know that. So weirdly, I'm obsessed with your own breathing at the moment.
Wow. Okay. So let's unpack that a minute. So the animators went through the trouble to figure out how to mimic their own breathing, and then creating a mechanism in place to keep the animation consistent. So when you're watching these scenes, once you notice that the alms are breathing, you'll be able to pick it up.
Yeah, so they layer it with different filming techniques because it was easier than painting every frame, because they actually did the film in less than a year. So they started in April with the concept art, and they had to have it done by the following March. They sort of gave up weekends and free time and things. So they were going for techniques that they could do without actually having to draw every single cell.
Wow, that's Loki. That's going to tick us off even more. This was done in a freaking year, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, look what we have to deal with now.
Now I'm honked off even more.
We can only do 8 episodes every 4 years, people.
Yeah.
Because it takes that long to generate the blah 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 bullshit excuse needed to come out with another season of something. They can make this movie in less than a year. Okay.
Technically, if she had pants, it would take 6 more months, but that's beside the point.
Thank goodness I didn't know those pants had. That would have taken too long.
Yeah. All right. That's a fascinating. I want to say. I guess piece of trivia would be the right description for the ohms breathing, because now I feel like I need to watch some sequences of ohms just to see the breathing. I did not know that at all. That's brilliant. That's why we do this. That's why we do this.
So let me ask you guys, as far as this film is, how does it compare for you to, say, some of the other Studio Ghibli films? Like, I think probably the big one that stands out for me is going to be Spirited Away, is sort of the big film that always sort of overshadows like a lot of the other works, like this one most especially, I feel.
So for me, my first watch experiences with them, well, Spirited Away I had seen several times before. So I feel that the Japanese mythology and spiritual elements in Spirited Away is what people kind of are leaning into, and I think really, really enjoying. Whereas this is more like a sci-fi fantasy journey, and I actually enjoyed this more than I did our rewatch of Spirited Away. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from the other film. In the hindsight, I actually still may like Howl's Moving Castle. That's right. Howl's Moving Castle and Castle of Cagliostro just as much. I think I may have. The problem I have right now is I got them all bunched up together, where I kind of like them all in a pretty even playing field, and the differences are in what mood I'm in. I will say the difference in audience is a little bit tricky for me, because I don't know that it's, I'm not necessarily the target audience for all these films either. Yeah, that's my general overview. I don't know. What do you think, Squeeka? You're our Ghibli expert.
Oh, I'm no expert. I just really like the films. I haven't done like an intense amount of research into them, but as far as like, I don't like I'm kind of in the same vein. Like, it depends on what mood I'm in, and I don't really have like a favorite one or the other, or one over the other. It's just, it depends on the mood I'm in to watch them, and then also I feel like each of them has their own kind of, not message as an anti-war message, but the qualities he presents in each of his characters and the trials that they go through are relevant and can speak to something that people are going through. And I think that's one of the things that people are drawn to of one particular film over another, is whether they think they have a favorite. I feel like all of his films do that, where even if Mononoke is your favorite, you may be going through something that makes The Cat Returns your favorite, or you may be going through something that makes Howl's Moving Castle your favorite. And I feel that's part of the draw of his films, is he's able to bring people in, and the stories he creates, even how fantastical they are with like Spirited Away, there's still some piece of it that's going to call out to something that you're going through in your life at that time, and it's going to speak to you.
All right. Before I get to Loki and Luis's take on that, let me say hey to Zax. He got popped in here. He's slinging the greetings and salutations to everyone. So Jacob's likening this one to Miyazaki's Dune, which I think is actually a pretty good analogy. I like that. That's actually pretty good. I like that. That's good.
I wish I thought of that. I might steal that now.
Yeah. DJ Ronnie G's throwing some love for Spirited Away, but the grave of the fireflies is quite uplifting. It's not what I hear about that movie. Okay. No, he's not. No, it's very heavy and deep. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Fair enough. Loki, I know you got into anime in a different sort of, edgier, graphic, more adult version of anime. So Miyazaki is sort of a different side of the coin. How do you feel about this one in relationship to some of the other Miyazaki films?
No, this was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I got where it was going early on. Like I said, it's beautiful. All of the movies he's made are beautiful. I don't ever take anything away like, oh, well, Loki doesn't like that movie or doesn't like the artwork or something. No, I always love the artwork. I always love the work they do. It's just sometimes the stories don't hit or they're not. It's not for me. This was a very much holy shit. It's kind of like Final Fantasy. Maybe Final Fantasy stole some stuff like the giant running birds or chocobos. Those are chocobos, ladies and gentlemen, from Final Fantasy. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. They took that from this movie and they put it in their video games. So there's elements of things I always see from what I watched and what I experienced with games and anime on my side. There's always something that connects to that, but it's just a matter of, is this my cup of tea? Spirited Away wasn't really my cup of tea. I appreciate the way it looks. I get where they were going. It's just not really my cup of tea. This was a lot more, let's go on an adventure, and it's going to be a great adventure. And they absolutely do that. So I thought it was really good. Top anime for me.
What do you think of DJ Ronnie G's Dune analogy?
I've never been super critical of Miyazaki's work, so I'd probably be the last person to go, oh well, yeah, that's right. Like I said, most of the stuff, the Studio Ghibli really is not my cup of tea. And when I was like, oh well, this is before that, I was like, well, maybe that's why. Maybe it's because before they formed Studio Ghibli, but he did other stuff like the House Castle and all that shit. That I'm just not really into, but I got into this. So,
all right, that's good. That's good. Let's see. Steven Ransom's over here trying to make the case that it's not a genre; it's just the voice of the Japanese aesthetics. Okay, all right. GG Johnny is still writing Firefly references, so there we go. And lots of love for one another, which is always great to see. And
I know. I feel like we almost need to put that on the calendar that Loki says something nice about Miyazaki movies.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. He's always trying to split the baby too, to make sure he understands. Because I think that's fair. That's been my criticisms of them. Is like they're not. That's my thing for Spirited Away. I mean, I said as a critic, this is still like an elite film. It's just not for me. And as an adult man, I'm like, yeah, it's not my thing. But my granddaughter, I'm like ready to like get her in front of the TV to watch Spirited Away. Like that's like my first one to get her introduced to, because it's one that she needs to kind of watch, because the message and the journey of that character is what my granddaughter needs a little bit. So different than this one for sure. So
this is sort of part of the trinity of the Ghibli / Miyazaki films that I hold close. These are this is made that list for me.
What's the third one?
So it'd be this, Castle of Cagliostro, and La Puta.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I thought you were going to go with Princess Mononoke. Okay.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Yes, that was great too.
Okay, because that's the one you always bring up. Like, I can't believe you didn't go see it in the theater. I'm like, something came up. Luis, where are you? How do you? Because I think you we talked about this. I think you had this one at sort of like the top of your list. Like I think, how do you kind of score this relative to some of the others?
I don't think I'm very unbiased here, but Castle and Skull, or Laputa, as Ironcast said, was the first one I watched as a child. So it had me absolutely enchanted. So I that's always my first and best, because that's what made me fall in love with it. I like this one because it is that contained story and it's its own thing. I can't fairly judge it against Howl's Moving Castle because I'd read the book. So when the first time I watched Howl's Moving Castle, I had the reaction I usually do, because this is a terrible adaptation. But it is actually a beautiful film, and I got over this is a terrible adaptation. So it's not, as much as I love it now, I loved the originality of this, which, the later things like, he's done Earthsea and the Arrietty, and of course they're all children's books made for British children or British little girls, which I read as a child, and I'm, biased against them because they're adaptations. So it's a bit unfair, but I love the originality of this.
That's a fair assessment too, because we talk a lot about, and no surprise there with the sort of comic book love and stuff that we have with the adaptations and some of the issues that I have and things that, let's see here, this thing will not stay play here. Here we go. Okay. I can't totally be fair and look past some of the problems with, Fantastic Four and Superman as a comic book person, because of this long history that I have with certain characters and who they are and their mythology and their backstories. And then just some random person claims to read stuff and love stuff, and next thing you know, they do something completely different. So I think even with Miyazaki, as much as we all love this stuff, if you came into it with a long history of being a fan of the children's books and or the manga, then it would be kind of jarring to see it even be shifted. So overall I would say Ironcaster, I would still score this one. I don't know that I've scored any of them sort of less than 4 stars. I think they're all sort of like my 4 out of 5, but I think it still has that rewatchability factor, which is sort of like the thing that constantly is ebbing and flowing for me. But Squeeka, you may be right. It may just be because of the moods and how it strikes you, rather than something that's, set in concrete, so to speak. What do you think, Ironcaster? I think Squeeka posed a pretty interesting question. It's like, as someone who loves the Miyazaki films, do you feel like, I love these 2 or 3, but because of the messaging and the timing and some of the different themes, maybe they just hit you differently in different ways, different times, what you're going through, that kind of thing.
I think there might be something to that. It's just certain films I feel like just work on a more universal sort of mindset of kind of like it can really appeal to a person depending sort of who they are. Certain things just work better for them. And this is one of those movies that I've never really not been in the mood to watch whenever it sort of comes up. Nausicaä has just a lot of those staple elements that make this little company's films pop, and I think this one might have done it best of them all.
Okay. I see Ransom's always trying to encourage about good messaging, raise them up appropriately, that for sure. DJ Ronnie saying how it was Spirited Away is a great guide into like Japanese spirit world. Yeah, that was very true too, for sure. So
I feel like too there's a disconnect, like not a disconnect, like Ghibli films are great across the board, but I feel like if you look at his 80s works versus his 90s works, I feel like there is a difference in them. If you look at, like Nausicaa and Castle in the Sky, even like I think Kiki's was still in the 80s and Totoro versus things like Mononoke and Howl's Moving Castle and Ponyo. They feel different too. I feel like in the 90s he did go more towards a almost kind of childish, fantastical kind of anime versus some of the ones that were made in the 80s, like Castle in the Sky and Nausicaa.
Well, I think it's also going to depend largely upon what his position was like within the company. To go from just being a director to, say, heading in a studio can completely change that in a person. How much you're able to actually be hands-on with the product.
Okay. The irony is what I've read about Miyazaki, because I have been trying to educate myself a bit, is he really ties into, and he's been very transparent about what Squeaky was saying about maybe being affected in the moods of what you're going through, current affairs, and that's kind of what bleeds into some of these themes and messaging. And that's why they still hit home, because they definitely are rooted and grounded into something real life. I don't know, how about you, Loki, and your cold heart that doesn't seem to change? Is it because have you watched some of the other ones that we've talked about a little bit, some of the other Miyazaki films, or mostly just those ones we've watched together?
It's just the ones we watched together.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Hello, Luis. What do you think about the Squeaka's theory, though, about how you connect based on current events and some of those things? Like, that's an interesting theory that Miyazaki may have really tapped into, even if it was sort of accidental.
I think you're right, for sure. I think that's true of all art, and like this is some of the best art you can do. And I think Ironcaster's got a good point as well. You know, at this point in his career, he was a sought-after artist, but he didn't have. He negotiated for quite a bit of control, but I think later on when they had the studio, that does probably change just how much control he had. So, but yeah, I do definitely think we connect differently at different ages as well.
Interesting. He's definitely one of the people that I'm learning to respect more, that has found a way to get certain themes and current affairs into movies without it just ruining the movie for me, if that makes sense. So like Loki, like obviously he was very transparent, because I was researching Princess Mononoke because I was supposed to see it in the theater when they did their screening thing, but I couldn't make it the last second. But he was really dramatically affected from the late 80s into the 90s by the AIDS epidemic and some of the different things that were going on there. He had been rejected to adapt it early on because he had sort of like Beauty and the Beast and Japanese folklore sort of motif going, and that wasn't blending with what they would let him do. And then, of course, Chernobyl happens, the AIDS epidemic. There's all sorts of these different things. He was very affected by these things. And obviously, this has got this massive Cold War influence as a backdrop. I mean, I'm not saying it. I agree with everyone's assessment. I don't think it lectures you or anything like that, but it's clear that it's there.
Yeah, it doesn't lecture you at all. There is no lecturing. I didn't think there was any lecturing in Spirited Away either.
Agree.
And that was very, very like self-discovery, focused. That was very, very self-discovery focused. So you would expect there'd be something in that there, but there wasn't. And there's none of that here either. These are good stories, and like I said, you carry away what you get. So if you are a kid, you might carry something completely different away from it than you do as an adult. Those are the timeless movies that we love, that you connect to, that you're like, man, I didn't catch the connect.
All right. I think I lost his audio for a second there. Am I the only one that's kind of lost that for a second? He muted? Okay.
We lost Loki just as I made it back.
He lost his connection.
Like Ironcaster tripped over the cord when he came walking in. I thought it was just me for a second, so that's why I hesitated. But
I hit my mic, and for whatever reason, when I touched my mic, I feel like
Brandon
Alan
Raven.
Grant with this thing.
We round him up.
I feel like Alan Grant with this thing. As soon as I touched it, it was like, your microphone has disconnected. And I was like, son of a bitch.
It happened to me a week ago, yeah.
So sorry about that. I was just saying, you no matter what age you are, you're going to take something away with this movie. You're going to walk away with something. And that could be completely different. And that's what makes classics great. That's what makes them rewatchable. That's what makes us want to go back and see it again, is that I'm going to take something different away this time. These movies can do that. A lot of the slop we get today can't.
Yeah, agreed. Luis, I know we talked a little bit about some of the voicing and things like that. Are you pretty pleased with the English dub, or is that the kind of a hot take?
Yes, I just don't read fast enough to read the subtitles. I put the subtitles up as well so that I can see when there's major differences to what they're saying. But I have to listen to dubs. Yes, I am pleased with it, but I can't not hear Patrick Stewart. So my feelings towards him have changed recently. But you know, I can't. I am hearing Patrick Stewart. I'm hearing Chris Sarandon, and which it takes a little while to adjust to. But I don't think it lasts long because you just get into the story and into the characters, and then you start ignoring who it actually is.
Yeah, his was striking. I have to be honest. I don't think I really even picked up on Mark Hamill or Jodie Benson particularly or anything like that. It wasn't anything like Jump. Patrick Stewart's one that clearly steps out. I mean, literally felt like he's playing like a version of a Gandalf character for me right from the get go. Like, oh, that's Patrick Stewart. There we go. So we're gonna say
my biggest thing is tone. Like you'll catch a different tone, and that can change your perception of a character. For example, and it's not a Studio Ghibli movie or Miyazaki movie, but just for example, the most irritating change I ever heard was on Batman Ninja, which was made in Japan. It was voiced by the Japanese. It had a different voice cast in it when they did the dub, but the Joker in the dub is like, I'm a villain, Batman. Whereas the Japanese version is like, and you're like, well, holy shit, that's a completely different character. That's like this deep booming, I will get you, Batman, compared to I'm gonna get you, Batman. And you're just like, holy crap, man, why would they do that? Why would they not get someone that at least sounds like him? And they've done it in every dub you can imagine from the old Godzilla movies. That's why they do not have the original English translated Godzilla movies anymore, the original dubs, because they absolutely did that. You would get a character in those movies that would be like, oh, we're going to go and we are going to defeat Gojira. And in the dub version, he's like a mad scientist that's like, we're going to go and get Godzilla, guys. What in the crap is that? So I that's why I'm like I'm very much a give me the subtitled version and let me hear the way it was meant to be, the way the original director wanted it, instead of somebody else's idea of, oh, we're going to make this guy sound like a geek instead of giving him a booming voice. We're going to make this guy sound however they're going to make Joker sound like he wants to, make love to Batman instead of fight him, instead of this, domo doge goto bato mano. And it's maddening. So I'll go with the subbed every time.
Sure, though, with the case of Godzilla, like those were the dubs that I myself were introduced to the characters with, and so I have a soft spot for those.
Oh, the Godzilla ones, absolutely. I grew up watching those Godzilla movies. I grew up watching them, take the piss out of it and have fun with them. And there is, and then there's the original the original voice actors that were doing their best to try and sell you the idea that there was a giant monster coming to kill them. And I really like that. Yes, there is a soft spot for those cheesy, oh, it's a giant lobster. Godzilla going to destroy the city. Run for your lives. Ah! Instead of, the more serious take on it that they had.
Loki Theater brought to you every week on Todd. Let's say 8 o'clock. Claude popped in. Claude made it. Great to see you. Lady Mist. Lady Mist is here.
Guardian of the Void.
Have this movie on DVD. That's great. That's awesome. And Dean Krantz, great news, man. Glad you're doing well. Hopefully recovery continues to go well. You're doing okay. And keep in touch, man. Let us know. So
congrats, man.
Yeah, he's wanting the dubs. Gotta get the dubs. Yeah, I get you, man. Get you. Yeah. Actually, he sent us, I forget which movie it was we had. I think it may have been Shin Godzilla. DJ Ronnie G sent me, I think they were like 3 different dubs or something, DJ Ronnie G. I don't know what. It was crazy. There were all sorts of files. So he's definitely down the rabbit hole to make sure he has got the right stuff for sure. So let's go around and kind of wrap some final thoughts and some elaboration. I will say, kind of an echo what Loki had said earlier. I think that it's just, these are all beautiful films, perfectly executed. Maybe I'm more of a sci-fi person than the Japanese mythos, and that was kind of my biggest takeaway. The difference between this one versus Spirited Away. I was a little more critical of Spirited Away because of that. I felt like it was the juvenile element. There was a big segment of the movie where I felt I'm kind of bored. Let's get on with it. This one wasn't like that at all. This one felt more like just a sci-fi apocalyptic adventure. Just happened to have a young princess as the main character. And I was distracted many times, feeling like modern Hollywood, 2015 Star Wars being in the forefront of my mind's eye. I also think that maybe what little bit I've seen of Rebel Moon by J.J. Abrams also tried to steal, badly, by the way, but stole some imagery and some stuff from the movie like this as well. So, and I do agree that Snorty, you may have picked up that he may have been speaking some Huttese there. It's possible. It's possible. Well, Squeeka, what about you? How because we didn't really talk about, you didn't really have an opinion before we put this out there. Like, hey, we're gonna watch this one. You didn't really have much to say. So, how is that for you? What's a score on this? The old Squeeka score.
Oh, I like all the Ghibli films. Like they're all, it's like I said before, they all hit different, and I can rewatch any of them at any time. And sometimes I'll go in and I'll say I want to watch this one in particular, but I mean I love all of them. Just like, even down to Pompoko, which is like really crazy. The little raccoon deity guys that I'm sure you've seen in Japanese culture. But like I love all of the Ghibli films. They all have a message to me. They all, the way he does his art in all of them, the worlds he creates, and even all the way down to like the little supporting characters, the little side guys. Like I love the worlds he creates, and I like the messages he sends, and I feel like they're different every time I watch them. So I mean, I don't have a Ghibli film that I don't like. I'm definitely a fan.
All right, that's good. Luis, you share that sentiment for the most part?
Yeah, definitely. I love the artwork. I've always liked anime. I love the ones that are adventure because it sort of fires the imagination. I I don't like all of the films because I don't like things that are sad. So there's things like Grave of the Fireflies I avoid at all costs. But yeah, of the ones that were that kind of imagination, whether childish or not, that's just a journey I love to go on. I'm just as happy watching something that's made for 8-year-old girls as watching Demon Slayer rip demons apart. So yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm glad that I have people like you who've made comments and corrected people like Stephen Ransom and others, and like TJ Ronnie G are trying to get me to watch Fireflies, like trick me. It's made for crying. It's not made for like, hey, let's hang out and watch a cool anime movie. It's like to break me down and make me sob.
We're not doing that next, are we?
No,
No.
we're not doing that
Okay.
at all. That's not
Okay.
happening.
Thank
not
you.
It's not a talk hard film. It is not. Yeah, that's not on brand for us. That's not going to
It is. It is on the short list of movies we will never do on this show.
I'm gonna remember that, because if y'all ever do, I'm taking the day off. I'm gonna be like,
No.
well, you guys
No, we're not doing that.
enjoy Talk Hard this week without me, because I'm not watching it. I'm not doing that again.
We don't intentionally try to make Squeeka cry all the time, but
Well, I think
No,
crying out of her misery was your fault last time, so you have to continue to work up some goodwill. Poor Squeak.
I've watched Grave of Fireflies, and I'll confess that sometimes misery loves company, and sometimes when it's just that I've watched it a second time when my life was at its lowest, and because there is some elements of hope, and just I've watched it before just to watch a sad movie when I'm sad, because I needed somebody to be sad with me. Like it does have its, even that, it has its moments, and I wouldn't like push it on my friends and say you have to watch this or you have to be sad. But even that, even the art he does in that, and the framing he does, and the colors he uses, and the message in that, it's at least worth a watch once in your life.
No, I get it. I mean, trust me, I have mad respect for the man. And the fact that it's so well known to be that emotionally jarring, I think is great. But for all of you men out there, and like Loki, I think would agree with me, we need a good cry. If our man needs a good cry, we just listen to Johnny Cash Hurt and we're good. Like, we need 3 minutes. We don't need like 90 minutes. We just need 3 minutes. Just give us 3 minutes and then we're good. We reboot and then we're all right. There we go.
I remember Eris was going to do a review of that movie, and she's like, do you want to watch it with me? I was like, oh no, I'll let you experience all the glory of that movie all on your own. You don't need me there going, I'm not watching this again.
Yeah. Ironcaster, how about you? What's the word on Nausicaä for you? I know you love all these, and it's definitely one that's top shelf. So, because you've kind of mentioned this one on a list. I think we had a list of 3 or 4, and this one kind of got bumped. But then Louise stepped up and said, "That's my favorite." That's my words. I heard. I don't remember exactly what you said, and I can't do the British accent, so we'll just keep moving.
Nausicaä is one that I have held up high. I feel like this movie does a lot of what makes a film like Spirited Away, beloved, better. Your character is got this genuine bit of hope to her that faces off against overwhelming odds at times in the face of man and nature itself. That just makes you want to just can't help but root for her as she's stopping the little baby Ohm from going into the lake of acid, willing to put herself on the line there. It's just a really enjoyable film. This one I feel like is a solid 4 out of 5.
I'm with you on the score for sure.
It is well worth the rewatch, and this is a movie that I feel like ultimately deserves to get. I feel is sort of unfortunately in the shadow in a lot of ways of Spirited Away, because this movie just does a lot of that better.
This movie is far superior to Spirited Away. And again, Loki, you respond in that this is what Hollywood should watch to write their story with their alpha female.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the one to watch. Like her going back again to save another creature or another person. This is the story that you're trying to do, that you're supposed to tell us about Strong Woman. This is the one to watch.
No, agreed. I absolutely agree with you. This is the kind of stuff they need to be watching and looking at. And the problem is they're so far up their own asses that they will never do that. And it's their loss, and it's their loss in story. Do I think they need to be copying everything about this movie? No, but they can definitely use it as a guide. And they used to do that. They used to be smart, and they used to do stuff like that. And now it's all, well, we're going to create this utopia of crappy movies that you can just throw in the trash after you're done watching them. We don't want that. We want more movies like this is what we want.
Well, that leads me to the question: if you see how, I mean, they do Ghibli Fest every year, you see that these things have longevity, and you see how they've done, um, and why would they turn away, especially now when they are out to make money, so to speak? Why would they turn away from that model? Like, why would they say, "Look, this thing has this longevity. Why don't we go back to possibly how these stories were done and look at how they did these things and use some of these things in our movies?" Why would they turn away from that?
Because streaming now is they're going to get paid no matter what, so they don't have to care. It doesn't have to have legs at Blockbuster because they've got streaming. And how are they going to get their money? They're going to get their money by going, okay, we're going to let HBO have Nausicaä, we're going to let Showtime have Spirited Away, we're going to let these people have this, and they're going to pay us, and we're going to keep making money off of this because it's going to constantly be attached to a streaming service. It's the same way with, okay, let's say they came out with another really dumb Batman movie. Well, it's going to be on HBO Max and it's going to make money that way. And it's going to be on Netflix at one point. It's going to make money that way. So they don't really care about it after it's done because they don't have to. They can just shell it out to one of the many streaming services that are going to pay them, and they're going to keep getting money on it. It's not about like what you love and what you want anymore. It's about what they can put on a platform and make money off of. And they don't have to, it doesn't have to be viewed all the time to make money off of it, because they're going to they're going to get it licensed no matter what. It will be on a platform somewhere, and they will be making money off of it through that platform.
I would say too, sometimes I think the YouTube sphere and the discussions of budgets and marketing budgets and how these movies are losing money and all that, we're not keeping in mind. It's not as though these people were hired for a lot of the money's being spent, but it's not like it was being spent by people who were hired for just that one film. So you have the people that make the film itself, but many of these departments, visual effects, marketing in particular, is the biggest one. You hear people, oh, you got to double the budget because of all the marketing. Well, these marketing departments are doing all of their marketing. It's not like they're, it's not like the WB's got just Superman people who came in for marketing and, but it bombed in marketing and whatever. They're all fired now. No, they're doing marketing for 16 different projects. They have team leaders, all this kind of stuff. So it's a little bit of a muddied formula. And I think Loki's right that they'll start cross-pollinating more with licensing because they realize they just keep getting money back and the money flows forever. I think the agenda has superseded, and their sort of virtue signaling and all that kind of superseded good storytelling. We see culture has shifted at least a little bit. And with movies, it takes a longer time because these things get in the project mode for years rather than this movie being made in a single year. So we'll see how that continues to evolve. But I said it pretty early on, Luis, is the Rey Star Wars analogy kind of close to home with this character in Nausicaä? Because I felt like I was like, wow, this is like really on the nose.
I didn't watch the Star Wars movie.
Okay, that's good for you. Never mind. It's even better for your health and your sanity. I'm very proud that I don't want to tarnish it then.
You ever mentioned anything?
Sure, her stock just keeps rising on this show. I'm just telling her.
That's right.
Her stock just keeps rising. Oh, she's untainted. It's good. She's not scarred by the freaking Star Wars nightmare. I don't know. What do you think, Ironcast? Do you think what's we could say? Like, we think about the agenda and how we're. I mean, I don't know the Hollywood. I don't think it'll ever be free of that stuff, but I think it will start to find its place away from some of the tentpole projects over time because money does matter. Eventually, they do have to get forced out or whatever, but there'll be another person, J.J. Abrams isn't going to. All right, let's forget J. Zack Snyder's not going to suddenly make great films. Sorry for all those people, and I am purposely picking his name because you people that are out there loving Snyder you guys are completely unhinged. Golly, he's nuts.
I did watch Rebel Moon, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So sorry for that.
You watched both parts or just one?
I watched both parts, but not the extended editions.
Oh no!
I couldn't
No,
do it. I watched 2/3 or so, then I think I was texting Loki. Is it getting? And he's like, "No, it's freaking dog crap, man. The dumpster fire." I just dipped out. I never watched another minute after. So they just went into this fight scene. And he's like, "This is just it's just dumpster." Yeah. So I was like, "I'm out."
Yeah, I've seen nothing but the original 3, and I'm going to leave it at that.
You're such a smart lady.
Not even the remastered ones. Forget that.
Yeah, you don't need that CGI in your life. You're good. You're good.
We're gonna. Well, that's all gonna change, Squeak, of the day that I get to pick the Ewok movies, or the
I
holiday
would sit
special.
through.
I've
will sit through the
I've seen the
Ewok
Hollywood
cartoon.
special. I mean, the Christmas special. Sorry, the holiday special. I've seen the holiday special.
Yeah, I'll sit through the holiday special and those cartoons before I'm watching those sequel movies again.
Oh,
Just to be
Only the
perfectly
first
honest.
didn't-
Ewok movie is good.
What was that, Louise?
Only the first Ewok movie is good. I like the cartoon, but only the first movie is good.
Chuka Trunk was a boss in that movie.
Everyone fears the Gorax.
Yeah, I love the cheekiness and silliness of all that enough that I could tolerate that over the sequel movies. And I'm not saying I'm watching them, and I'm not giving him permission to pick them, just for those of you out there. Definitely you, Steve Ransom. I'm watching you. DJ Ronnie G, you people. I'm watching all you people out there. Dave C's in the house. See you out there, folks.
Guys, I'm just saying, like, money talks around here, so if we can get some super chats to, start getting that fund built up, then it's going to do a lot more than me building up good karma.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, the thing that I think really makes this work is just the fact that it's not within the international Hollywood system, where this was a movie made to ultimately please a smaller local audience, the Japanese market. It doesn't. They don't have the ability to obfuscate and say it doesn't matter what one market says. We've got 100 different markets that we can push this movie into to get our money back. So there's more accountability. Whereas with the Hollywood system, it doesn't matter what any one particular audience says, because they make movies for everyone, which is to say they don't make any movies for a specific audience.
That's an interesting angle on it too. You're right, because it's the Hollywood by committee. These corporations are too big. Even the producers themselves are not really living with the consequences of making bad movies. So, yeah.
I think it will be interesting to see how K-pop Demon Hunters changes the landscape, because no one at Netflix was expecting that to be the huge success it has been. You've got people out on the street copying the dances. The songs are topping Billboard. It's the biggest movie out there at the moment as far as streaming is concerned, and it's wiped the floor with Disney. So. And yes,
it is. My granddaughter has not stopped talking about it at all. Like, since she got here, it was completely crazy. But did you guys know that there is a movie? And this is number 2. It's called NEZHA, NEZHA 2. It's part 2. It's a $1.8 billion movie that came out of China. Now, maybe we don't talk about the fact that it's made so much money because it's China. Maybe they're lying. I don't know. But I somehow hit the worldwide box office rankings because I was trying to see how some of these things were doing and how few movies. Because I guess Lilo and Stitch finally made it to the $1 billion mark, but Minecraft fizzled out. And I was like, what is this NEZHA? Anyway, the first one is actually on Netflix. I was going to watch it. And that's how I saw the latest K-pop Demon Slayer phenomenon exploding that you were talking about, Louise. I don't know. Yeah. Crazy, huh?
It's a good film. That's all. It's a good film. It's a good musical. It's got the right kind of messaging. Good versus evil, and
Yeah, Stephen Ransom's been talking about it in my private messages for 2 weeks, I think now.
Yeah. It's also slightly ripping off the plot of Buffy, but we won't talk about that. Just a little bit in one particular place. But that's okay, because it's, demons and magic.
Well, the kids shouldn't have seen Buffy, so hopefully they won't know. Later on, they'll think, oh, they got it from Buffy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're going to look at it and say, Buffy, that old show?
Yeah.
Not my grandkids.
I mean, I don't, it's not like a bad reboot type thing. It's not like they ripped it off. It's just that they've come up with a classic storyline of love and redemption and things like that, and it just happens to be similar to Buffy. But because I watched that first, I noticed.
Gotcha. Well, I tell you what, they were talking about it, and I tell them we don't watch streaming around here when you guys are here. You know what they ended up watching? The 5-year-old getting ready to head into kindergarten. I got him brainwashed on Schoolhouse Rock, and he kept singing Conjunction Junction, but couldn't remember the rest of the lines. He kept going, Pop, sing the next line. It was driving my wife completely out of her mind, which I made me think about Squeeka giggling, because I know Squeeka was talking about how much she loves my wife, and I'm like, yeah, could you imagine how much I was driving her crazy? Squeeka getting them, how's that song you like, Weston? He'd go, Conjunction Junction. Pop, what's the next line? Sing the next line, Pops. So I was like, oh, she was like, oh my God, teach me this. And it just kept going and going and going. Scott Westbrook, thank you so much. Popping in a $5, man. That's so great. The old Sheba dog, clapping hands. High five to you, Scott. Scott, be safe out there, man. Keep in touch. Let me know how things are going. Great to see you, man. So Scott's been the old pop universe here since the get-go. So
that's clearly the man who wants to see some Ewok movies.
Maybe, Scott. Well, I have either personally done or we have done most of Scott's recommendations. I don't think I'm way behind on a Scott list. He usually kind of gets what he wants because he's been with me from literally like old school 2022 kind of stuff way back. So we have to go quick to go around the horn of plugging some stuff. Thing going on, Loki. We got some YouTube talk or some stuff going on tomorrow.
We do. We'll have some YouTube talk. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I knew something yesterday. I had it. It was on the tip of my tongue, and I lost it. But yeah, we're going to do YouTube talk tomorrow and have a fun time. And that's pretty much all I got. So, don't miss, guys. If you want to see a fun show tonight, check out Taco Tuesday over on Snowdub's channel. It'll be fun.
There we go. IRONCASTER's got a great mech pit from last night. Make sure you check that out. And he'll be on to go, but later on with that T-shirt, I believe.
Correct, sir. Not quite sure what we're going to be getting into, though. I think I might be busting out the paints and getting a few more things, kind of assembled, painted up. I've been getting a little bit of a painting bug lately, so I want to, clear out the pile of shame.
Did you finish the gate?
Yes. The Stargate is done. I got it here somewhere. In fact, I've now got like a little dais for the little dial to sit on. I will put together a little scene for you, Squeeka, and I will get it all decorated. So maybe we'll set something up for Halloween with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. Well, Squeeka's got an appointment with me coming up here soon. We got to record a couple things, so we got to keep it going heading into the beginning of the year. My job and my mission is to keep making her laugh. We are doing just
great
that.
movies. Some Like It Hot was amazing. I love that movie. That's like easily in my top 10 now because I love that was.
It's a good film.
It's so good. I love that movie.
You have to find the Hercules episode where they ripped it off. They did a whole episode of Hercules back in the day that was basically that film.
See, now I want to go back and watch because I was part of the whole Hercules Xena Warrior Princess generation. So now, and I know I've probably seen the episode, but I probably didn't get it because I'd never seen Some Like It Hot.
Yeah,
So
this is the best part of this too. It's all those references. Like she'll talk about references that she knew existed. I think you even knew the Naked Gun thing, right? And we're, hey, nice beaver. It's like
or Don't Call Me Shirley. Like there's references that I know
airplane.
Are like we're gonna need a bigger boat, and I've never seen Jaws. Like, I mean, I know there's some, and it's just so exciting when you get the references, not when you're told the references are in a movie and they're not till the end. But
I'll never watch it for the first time. So we'll be recording some more of those, doing that with her. Louise, what about you? You got some things that you're doing, some shows that you're joining, anything else going on?
Nope, I have nothing planned at all.
It's been such a treat to have you with us.
It's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Look, I think we classed the place up with someone with a lovely accent like this.
Oh yeah.
Every week. Like, I love hanging out with Louise.
Yeah. All right. Well,
we're gonna get outnumbered. You do realize that, Pops? That
I'm
just,
fine with that. If it just makes the world better, then it's what we got to do. We got to do what's right for the universe. We'll see. So, but yeah, we're saying that we said farewell to Sandler. We are going to do our anime here before we get into some more, some good, crazy, fun movies. Nobody 2 comes out soon, which my theater sucks, man. So there's 4 major marquees in the lobby, and it was like 2 posters for each movie. So like there were 2 Nobody posters and 2 posters for some sort of Freaky Friday sequel. I'm like, there's 4 marquees to promote 4 movies, you morons. Like, oh, I'm so disappointed. My wife's like, you're going to go see that? I'm like, yeah, that's probably one of the few movies that I've been looking forward to is actually watching because I just have a good time. So we're going to watch the original Nobody, talk about that. And I will admit, it was not my intention, but I know it will still make Squeaky laugh. Indeed. Then we will definitely get into some more comedies. Oh, another gem we saved for Talk Hard, which was, I believe, Ironcaster helped me pick. That was Shot in the Dark. Because, dear Lord, Shot in the Dark is glorious. Oh, my God.
Although not the first of the Pink Panther films, it is, I think, the best of them. The perfect place to start.
100%. It's so universal. There's so many things that they added and put in the Kato gag. It's just, there's stuff that comes along with the second one. So, you a big fan of Peter Sellers, Louise?
I can't say that I am.
Okay.
I'm sure I've watched a few films here and there.
Yeah. Doc Brown is in Nobody. And he's solid. He's solid for sure. So yeah, we have some fun stuff coming up. Folks, make sure you stay tuned to that. Welcome to all these members. Thank you to Squeeka for her generosity. And Scott out there paying the bills, man. Thank you, man. You've been a supporter and a friend and all this for the whole time. Thanks to you, wonderful panel. Go ahead, Ironcaster.
Oh, I don't know if my math is right, but if I have the sheet, if I have the spreadsheet and all that worked out properly, August 19th is going to be a special one for us. It's going to be Talk Hard number 150 as we delve into Goldfinger.
Yes. The James Bond. Is it the best Bond? 150 shows for sure. Yeah, it's coming up. So yeah, I think you're 100% right. I've been watching your record keeping there, and I see that we doubled up with Waterboy and Billy Madison, so it can be a little wacky if you don't know what actually happened. But yeah, that's 100% accurate. You're good. Yeah, 150. We'll be at 200 next year, so it'll be exciting times for sure. So, well, folks, thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you, wonderful chat. Thank Louise. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. It's been great to have you.
Thank you.
And you guys out there, you guys be blessed. Make sure you check out the description for everybody's links and all their contacts and everything. And you guys take care, talk hard, and we will see you next time.
little skull and tuck and roll.
Did it not play?
It's no.
No, it did not play. It is not playing.
It's not playing. Why did it not play? Hello, Bob.
Push the button.
I did. It's playing. On me.
Oh no.
All right, we're just gonna say goodbye, folks. You guys.